Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about what to expect as a first-time home buyer. There are a lot of things that go into not only the contract, the after cost and all of that, and I just kind of wanted to break that down for you guys. I know some of you guys may not be looking to buy anytime soon. Some people might be, but I just wanted to give you guys as much information as possible so that way you just have the knowledge going into the process. So first things first, my brokerage uses this little roadmap. So I'm going to be going off of that a little bit and then also adding tidbits in. So I'll probably just pop up a photo for you guys to see kind of like what I'm going off of. But of course, the first step of the process is going to be finding and meeting your real estate agent. So just picture me as your real estate agent for this one. Hello, hi, it's so nice to meet you. From that point forward, it is my job, once you sign the paperwork with said real estate agent, that real estate agent has 100% fiduciary to you as the buyer, and it is their job to help you find properties, show you properties, and then of course help you make an offer on those properties. So once you find the agent, hello, and then you get signed up with them, the next step of the process typically would be for you to get your pre-approval. So that's when your agent will hook you up with a lender. A lot of times it's really great if you're going into it already knowing what agent you want to use to allow them to hook you up with a lender, because a lot of agents have preferred lenders and they work really well with their preferred lenders. You don't have to. If you have a lender that you love, you want to use, you already know, maybe it's someone in your family, that's perfectly fine. Just a recommendation, if you don't and you don't know who to go to, your agent can help you get a lender, and typically like things go really smooth between the agent and the lender when they already have a great connection and great relationship. So just something to take into account. So when it comes to your pre-approval, you just want to make sure that you're prepared to give them basically just like proof of income, any W-9s that you may have, any tax return information that you may have. A good tip is that if you know you're going to be looking to purchase or buy anytime soon, go ahead and just create a folder where you just drop in all of your bank statements, all of your whatever you would use for proof of income. Just go ahead and drop it in that folder, because it's going to make it so much easier for you, so much less time consuming, especially with tax returns. I forget all the time where I saved my tax returns to. And I'm usually like hunting around through emails trying to figure out who was it that I went through. Was it TurboTax? Was it H&R Block? And like trying to go back to their websites and find it. So it's just a whole lot easier if you know that you're going to be buying within the next year, even 2 years down the road, to just go ahead and just make a folder that has proof of income, taxes, stuff like that, and even maybe from future on, because now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably do that for my tax returns, because I can literally never find them. But yeah, so just make sure that you're ready and willing to hand that information over to the lender. So after you're pre-approved, that's when we can really understand what your budget is. I know we love to go shopping. I know everybody really just wants to find the perfect house before they talk with a lender. And I totally understand that perspective. I totally get it. I've been there as well. But it really, really helps your real estate agent to know what they can and cannot show you from the beginning if you just go ahead and get that pre-approval. It's basically just like if you go to the store and you see all the things that you want, but then you check your bank account after you've put everything into your cart, and then you realize like you don't have the money for that, it's a whole lot more of a letdown and a sad time. If you had just checked your bank account beforehand, then you'd know everything you need. I don't know if that was a good reference, but that's just essentially why agents push you guys to get the pre-approval. It's not because we don't trust you or we don't want to help you. It's just because it really, really helps us narrow down and narrow into what you can really afford. Because we don't like showing you things you can't afford, getting you all hyped up, and then you find out you can't afford it and it's the house of your dreams and you're sad now. Like, we feel sad for you as well. So yeah, please just consider that. But after that, we'll take you guys out. We do the searches for you. You can of course always send things to your real estate agent as well that you find. We don't mind when you do that. We love to look it up for you and create a list and everything for you to go see. We'll take you out. We'll have a fun time looking around at homes. That's like the best part. And then once we find the home that you love, we'll make an offer. And so that's where the contract comes into play. Now, the contract is 100% the duty of the real estate agent. So once you find the property that you love, you and your real estate agent will decide how much you want to offer on said property. And so that'll be considered between how much you're pre-approved for, how much down payment you have, and stuff like that. And so you guys will have that conversation, decide what the home is worth, and you guys will draw up the offer together. Well, your real estate agent will draw up the offer. You're basically just giving them information that goes into the offer. So you won't see the contract until after it's fully completed with everything that you need in there. They'll usually send that over to you, and then you sign it and everything. Once you sign it, it comes back to the agent, and the agent will send it over to the listing agent for the seller's approval and all of that stuff before moving forward. Now, this is the part where you guys want to keep in mind that there are upfront costs that come into play before you even close on the property. So one of those things is that when you guys go to make the offer, something that your real estate agent will bring up to you is your option period. Now, an option period is a time frame that you pay for to be able to basically take that home that you like so much off the market and do your due diligence. So what that means is that getting your inspection done, if there's any other specific things that you want to do, like maybe you wanted to replace the hardwood floors in there and you wanted to see like get a quote and see how much that would cost. If you think you really love the home but you don't know for sure yet, so you're like trying to think it over, all of that stuff happens in between the option period. Now, you can have an option period of 2 days. You can have an option period all the way up to like 10-15 days. That is something that you and your real estate agent will talk about and discuss, because it really just depends on the market and it depends on the home. There's a lot of factors that go into that, but I just want you guys to be prepared because you do have to pay for that. Typically what I do personally is that I kind of base the allotment of the option period on like how much the house costs. So if it's like a $500,000 house, then we would pay about $100 a day to take that house off the market. So if we did a 4-day option period, it would be $400 for those 4 days. So every real estate agent kind of has their own way of doing it, but just keep that in mind. That is going to be an upfront cost that you guys will have to pay. Now, secondarily, the next upfront cost that you'll have to pay. So once you submit that contract, like it's sent over to the listing agent, The listing agent looks over it, sends it to their sellers approve it, and yay, we're now under contract. One of the first things that we also have to pay for along with our option period allotment is going to be our earnest money allotment. So those two get paid together and they go to the escrow agent. And the earnest money is going to be 1% of the purchase price. So let's say you're buying a home for $400,000, you will have to pay $4,000 in earnest money to the escrow agent. Now this money gets held, and just think of it as a deposit. So if you've ever done an apartment or anything like that before, it's kind of like that type of situation. It's a deposit that you put down. You do get it back. Sometimes you don't get it back from your apartment complex, but you do get it back at closing. It goes towards your cost and everything like that. So just think of it as like a pre-down payment that you're putting down that goes towards you at the end. I don't know if I explained that well, but yeah. So you'll have that 1% plus whatever your option period money is. So let's say we're doing the same 400 that we did. So 4,400 is what you would be paying towards escrow after you guys are under contract. And so all of that money is due. So if you did do a 4-day option period, all of that money is due before the end of that option period. So it's not due at closing. It's not due once you complete the transaction. You have to pay it within your option period, or it does have negative effects on your contract. I think it just actually like null and voids your contract. It's not good. It's not good. Just trust me on that one. You want to make sure it's paid during your option period. So that's one thing for you guys to know. So after that, after you pay that money, the next steps for you as a buyer is really just going to be your inspection. So again, like I said, that's within your option period. That is another upfront expense that you'll want to take into consideration. Inspections typically can range, it depends on the size of the property. So inspectors typically price based off of square footage. So typically what I've seen from inspection cost and what I've seen for like about a 3-bedroom home, it's going to be about $400. That's what I've seen personally typically. But like I said, inspectors, they're on their own pay situation and typically they go off of square footage. But again, each inspector is different. So I can't give you guys a set number. I can just say average wise what I've seen for a 3-bedroom, about 400. That's all I can say. And also there's different ranges of inspectors too. We're not going to get into that, but there's like high quality inspectors, they charge more. So like it's all over the place with that, but just be aware that you'll also have to pay your inspection as well. And that will be an upfront cost that you'll have to pay. The inspector will then come out, they inspect the home. After they inspect the home, they send the inspection report to your real estate agent. From that inspection report, it goes over everything that's going on in the house. So the good, the bad, what needs to be fixed, what's good about the property, all of those things will be in the inspection report. So once you guys go over, you guys review that inspection report together. And if there's anything on there that you want fixed, if there's anything that you think, you know, maybe the seller should give you a little bit of concession so you can fix it yourself, you'll want to make sure that you relay that information to your real estate agent so that they can put all of that information together and send it over to the listing agent for consideration. So anything that you see on there, just make sure that you let your agent know, because you can't get that stuff fixed after the fact. So after you've closed, after you've taken the keys, you can't be like, oh yeah, that sprinkler is broken. Can you guys come back and fix it? They're gonna be like, no, it's your property now. You sign the paper, peace out. So just make sure that you review it, you read over it, and if there's anything on there that you for sure want fixed, relay that information to your real estate agent so that it can be taken care of before you take possession of the property. So after inspection, typically you're out of your option period. If you decided that you're moving on, you're moving forward, this is your home, you love it, you don't care about anything, congratulations yet. So the next step of the process is going to be you and the lender basically getting all of your financial stuff in order, because they did the pre-approval with you, but now they have to do the final approval with you. And this is where all of the documentation that they have goes to underwriting, and they're going to be asking you for more documentation as well. So just be prepared for that. That's why I say just have the folder, dump as much stuff in there as you can think of at the time, because it'll really, really help you out later on, because they're going to ask you for a lot of documentation. I'm not a lender, so I don't know specifically exactly all the documentation that they ask you for. I just know it takes about 28 days to go through underwriting and all of that stuff. So it takes a minute for them to get all of that stuff together. But once you guys are through that part, make sure during that period of time, do not do anything. Like, please, 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 from all the real estate agents out there, do not do anything in regards to your credit. Do not open new credit cards. Do not purchase a new car. Do not decide to get a secondary investment property. Please, 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 do not quit your job. Do not quit your job. There are so many other things, but like everything in your life that you have going on when you did the pre-approval and then you went under contract, don't change anything. Don't change it. Don't try to upgrade it, because it will have negative effects on you moving forward on the property. So just leave everything alone and upgrade things after. So yes, so once you guys are finished with the loan and loan processing and all of that fun stuff, from there we will get information on closing. And so at that stage and at that point, that's when the lender and escrow will start talking to each other. They will send all the documentation. The lenders will send all the documentation that they have over to escrow to help start drawing up your closing documents, getting all of your paperwork together for you to sign to basically take possession of that property. So once they have all of that stuff sent over, once escrow and title has received everything that they need, they will then send an email to your real estate agent saying that we are clear to close. And that is the email that you guys probably have seen all over the place that real estate agents post. It's the best time. It's the best day, because that means we've done everything that we needed to do. We checked off all the boxes, did all the stuff, and now we're good. Oh, I forgot one thing. My bad. So before we get that clear to close, during the period of when the lenders are doing all the underwriting and stuff like that, you may have an appraisal. So typically, it depends on the lender. And so the appraisal is just the assessment of value of the property. So during that assessment of value, the lenders will basically be deciding if what you offered on the property, if it is worth that. So let me just break that down for anyone who doesn't fully understand. But basically, so we said we offered on a $400,000 property. Let's say we just offered 400,000 even, right? And so what the appraiser is going to do is they're going to walk the property, they're going to go through it, and they're going to assess it and basically tell you, yes, it is worth $400,000, which means, you know, the lenders are going to keep the loan right at $400,000. You don't have any additional amount to pay. Or in some cases, they might say it's worth less than $400,000. So let's say they walk the property and they're like, yeah, no, it's actually worth about $390,000. So then if you still wanted to move forward with the property, you would have to pay an additional $10,000 on top to be able to get the property, because the lenders are only going to lend you as much as the property is worth. So they would only lend the $390,000. They wouldn't lend the $400,000. Now, if that happens, it is not the end of the world. You can negotiate with the sellers on pricing and maybe like get it down, because sometimes at that point, like the sellers are just ready to sell, you're just ready to buy and take over. So they're like, you know what, we'll take what we can take. If it's 390 instead of the 400, it's fine, it's whatever. But that is something to take into consideration that might happen. But also on a positive note, what could happen is you offer 400,000, the appraiser goes and walks through and they're like, yeah, actually this home I think is worth 410,000. So you actually end up walking into the home with positive equity, because you don't have to tell the sellers that it was worth more than what you offered it for. Yeah, real estate a little sketchy like that sometimes, but essentially you don't have to tell them. So then basically when you take possession of the home, you're actually taking possession of the home with $10,000 in equity. So yay. So there's both, you know, good sides and like downsides to appraisals sometimes, but just keep that in mind moving forward. And then also appraisals are also another additional cost. Yeah, someone got to pay the appraiser. So and they have their own cost and fees too. Sometimes the lenders will do it. Sometimes it'll be up to the buyer. So again, circumstantial, depends on things, but another cost to just take into account. Okay, so back to what I said, we're clear to close. We got the documents over to title, over to escrow. We came in at 410. We're walking in with equity, because I'm choosing that one. We're walking in with equity. We're happy. We're excited. And so the next step is basically just closing. And so how closing works is that you meet your agent at whatever title company was put into your contract. So you meet your agent there. The escrow officer has all of the documents that you'll sign. It's a lot of documents, so be prepared. Like do the hand scrunches, get the muscles ready, because you're going to be holding a pen for a decent amount of time, signing a lot of documentation. You're not going to want to read through it all, but there's going to be some things that you should go over. They're going to ask you about home warranties. They're going to ask you about I just forgot the word, but they're going to go through all of that stuff with you there. You do have to make sure before closing that you do have your insurance set up. So whatever home insurance that you want to use, just make sure that before closing you have that set up and that information has been sent over to your lender. But they go through that. That's a part of their process and everything. But that's something that'll be gone over at closing. They'll have you sign that documentation saying that, you know, you have insurance, you know about it, all of those great things. And then they will present to you your closing cost. And so at that point in time, you'll be able to see all your closing costs and everything like that, what it's going to be. So closing costs typically is your down payment plus all the fees. So if you're doing a typical 10% down payment, just know that it's going to be the 10% that you agreed on plus whatever fees, like title fees and stuff like that attached to it. So when you see it, just be aware that there will also be that attached. So once you finish signing all the documentations and everything, you've gotten your closing costs, you've seen what it is, they're going to typically, from what I remember, you'll have already wired that information. You can do it at closing, you can do it after closing. This one is one that's fuzzy for me. But basically you wire them the closing cost and down payment and all of that to title. You send them all the money, make sure that you send it to the right people and that you're following the right protocol. If you need to bring a check, do that. Whatever you need to do, just make sure you get it to title. And then after that has been sent to title, you've signed everything, and you've gotten everything situated with them, then you get to take pictures. Okay, no, for real, it's your property, but until the lenders wire the money to the sellers, it's technically still not your property. So that's why I just said you get to take pictures, because there's still a little bit of a time frame in between. It typically takes no more than 30 minutes to an hour. Basically, title has you come in, sign all those papers, documents, and then they send all of that information back to the lenders. Then the lenders send the money to them. So during that time period, you get to be like, yay! That's when you take all of your, we bought a house, look at us, we did it, pictures, but it's still technically not yours yet until title receives the money. But then once title receives the money, you bought a house. Congratulations. It is your property. Typically, title holds on to the keys. So the sellers will have already done all of their stuff before you guys do. Title will have the keys. And then once the lenders send them the money and they have all of the money that they need, then they will hand those keys over to you. Sometimes they will do it while you're there. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, so your real estate agent can hang out and wait. They'll give them the keys, and then your real estate agent will meet you at the property to give you the keys. But yeah, you just want to make sure that until you guys get that confirmation from title that the property is yours and they hand you the keys, that you do not go to the property, because it's technically still not your property yet. Like, even though you've signed everything, you've sent the closing funds, you've sent everything like that, it's still technically not yours yet until everything checks out. And you just want to make sure that it goes through before you step foot on the premises. But besides that, congratulations. Like I said, you're now a homeowner. So yeah, that is basically the process. It might have sounded like a lot. In my head, it's really not, but to you guys, that may have been a lot. And that's why, real estate agents are great. We're here to help you. We're here to walk you through the process. If you choose to do it without one, that is fine. We understand. But if you choose to do it with us, just know we really have we have the best intentions for you. We really are here to help you through this process and to get you through it as quickly and as well oiled as possible. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this information. I hope it wasn't too much for you. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, if you'd like to ask more questions, if you like this style of video. And I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye.